idea how this is going to sound because there's not really any furniture in here to dampen my voice. So this is a new place that I will be living in 2 days. I'm excited, but I'm like super anxious. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about, I guess what this conversation is about next steps and thinking about where you should be, right? I feel like I may have talked about this before, but I just don't know if it was a conversation or in the vlog. But I was thinking about how excited I was and how positive this is going to be and why I'm making this move to get out of a really negative and stressful environment, and how I feel like, oh, I'm moving into a smaller space, and in some ways more inconvenient. And I was thinking about like my age and being like, I'm 36 years old, like I'm almost 37, this is crazy, like I should be, and that's where I get tripped up, I should be, like expectations, right? I should be moving into a bigger place, I should be moving in alone, like, or with a partner, right? Like I should be able to afford a bigger place by myself that has everything I need, blah, 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 exactly where I want it to be. And I tried to get out of that quickly because it was just like dampening my experience of this really positive change and the fact that I'm able, with supports, able to make this change. And I guess it's like really simple, but I mean, I kind of just like felt like if I'm taking any steps forward in certain areas, not any steps, there are steps that I'm taking forward that are positive and healthy, and that because I'm taking those and I can tangibly, like I can note what those are. They're not just like subjective, they're very objective things that are good and healthy. And there's multiple, one of those huge things, I guess for me, I was just looking at the physical space, right? I was just thinking about the physical space, the location, the having of a roommate, like those things as all these kind of like negatives in a way. And other than just like the positives that I could get from those, just leave those alone, and let's just say that's like, oh, that's like this negative thing or whatever, and that's it, and they're not. Like no matter what, I'm, with a positive outlook, like look what I could be gaining, right? Opportunities to downsize, like, or whatever, and just like a change of pace with a person, and instead of having 2 roommates, having 1, and just like whatever. There's a lot of benefits and a lot of positive and whatever, but like for a minute, I was just like, man, like, where am I in life? What am I doing? Like this sucks. It didn't last long because again, like I just came to this conclusion, like I know what I'm doing is beneficial for me, and that there is a huge component of like there's a mental health component that is massive, that is going to be so much better being out of that toxic environment. So by extricating myself, I am improving my environment, which allows me more positive opportunities for growth. It's kind of like, oh, I'm in a dead-end job, and it's like, yeah, you need to get yourself out of that and get into another area, and that's really scary sometimes and can be really difficult and whatever else, but like, you can make that change, even if that change is, I don't know how to explain it. It's like you go to like a job that pays less, well, that isn't the only thing that's going to matter. And if you are looking forward to a specific career and something else or whatever, and like, like you might need to take a pay cut. However, that job has like so many other opportunities for your personal growth, career growth, mental health, whatever. That's how I guess I'm viewing this. Is like there are so many steps forward that this move is making, like that I am making, with this move. Like there's so many forward steps with taking care of myself that no, it is not where I thought I would be at this point. It is not where I even want to be, but it is where I want to be in relation to where I was. It's not where I want to be, period. But why am I focusing on this? This is where I want to be in relation to where I am now, or where I was, or whatever. Like in 2 days when I get here, or whatever, and in like 3 days when everything is settled and kind of like, like I feel settled in or whatever. This is where I want to be. Again, there is no where I want to be, period. There shouldn't be. Like, you can think like, wow, one day I would really like to just like live with my partner in this big house and like have a home studio and this and that and whatever. And that's like okay to think about. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that, depending on how you let it affect your actions and your attitude. But for me, I'm looking at this now, thinking about the process of like, no, this is where I want to be. Because it is, there are so many things about, like, why did I choose this? I chose this because it is better. It is a better opportunity for me. It is better than where I was in so many ways. So this is where I want to be. And that there's all these forward steps, and the ones that are backward steps don't matter that much. Like, I'm assigning society's values or cultural values that I grew up with onto these things. And like, my life has not worked out in certain ways, in certain directions, whatever. And again, only because I'm defining it by cultural values that I've grown up with. And like, what is more important, things like mental health, right? Or like, for me, my art practice, which does affect my budget, right? And like having peace of mind, like having a studio space, like is so important to me, and my identity and my personhood, my ability to go there and create and just be free, and like having a space like that is so special and near and dear to me, and just like so essential. But there's sacrifices that I have to make for that, and that's just the reality of my life. And I'm so grateful that I have that thing, though. And just like this is where I want to be. But for that second there, I just like holding on to this, like, well, man, really, this is, you shouldn't be here. You should be here. But the point is, like, I'm here. And where I was here, and I made a choice, and now I'm here. Even if I want to one day be here, whatever that is, I'm not here anymore. I'm here. Even if I thought by 36 years old I would be here, by 30 years old I thought I'd be here, and all we did was get here. Like, there's been this is a thing that has happened, I feel like, with life. I felt like I was like, like going up, and everything was going great, and then it was like, and now, and then it went like, oh, and then now I feel like, okay, it's up again. Like we're going in a forward trajectory. I don't want to overtalk this, but I just needed to acknowledge, like, no, this is where I want to be, and this is a positive place, and it's just like needing to break away from those cultural standards and norms when they don't make sense. It's like tradition for tradition's sake. Is peer pressure from dead people is a line that I'm stealing from somebody, but it's true, and just like also just tradition for tradition's sake has never appealed to me, and so cultural expectations that again, like, I want to focus on other things. I have different values and different goals, and one of them needs to be living more in the present and having more process and feeling at peace and not throwing so many expectations upon myself that I need to live up to, other than taking care of